Hi friends, welcome again to this YouTube channel. So today we are going to talk about a powerful communication technique that we are going to learn from the legendary Priyanka Chopra. Now one of the videos from Priyanka Chopra at I Am Ahmedabad has been quite viral on this channel, and I thought I'm going to extend that by taking some real life examples from her conversations and trying to see how that can apply in our context. Now, what's the best way to articulate your thoughts when asked for an opinion? Let's say you are in a meeting, an interview, or just a normal conversation.
And I wasn't like that from the beginning. I sort of learned. So confidence is something I taught myself over the years.
To truly master this, let's learn from one of the most effective communicators that I have known in recent times, which is Priyanka Chopra. Let's understand what makes her communication so effective and so powerful. Is there a structural framework which is at play? Can we actually emulate that while we interact with our stakeholders in real life? One thing that sets Priyanka apart is that she never just puts across a point. She will always complement that with an anecdote. It's not that I just say a point and let it float in the air and then the listener just forgets it. When I add an anecdote, I ensure that it sticks to the memory. She will always anchor her points with a story. That's the beauty of her communication. She will tell a personal anecdote.
I was 4 years old. My father encouraged opinions. Where I used to sit with, my parents' friends, and my dad comes from a, middle class background. So does my mom, Ambala, conservative background. But he always asked for my opinion, and not in a flippant way. Ki, "Achha, let's see what a 4-year-old has to say," but in a serious way. And that always made me feel like I'm important. And I told this story actually, I think I told it in my book, but it was really interesting. In military houses, they have nameplates outside your barracks where it says who's staying here. So my father was a major back then, and my mother was a captain. So the nameplate said Major Ashok Kumar Chopra and the captain Madhu Chopra. So I looked at it when it was being installed and it was hammered into our house, and I asked my father. I must have been in kindergarten, I think, that time. So KG mein baith ke, I asked my father, I said, do I live in this house? And he said, yes, you do. So I said, then why is my name not up there? And my dad changed the nameplate. And it said Priyanka Mimi Chopra KGB, which was kindergarten B.
Now, here's a beautiful example. Let's say she was talking about the power of inclusion, the value that she ascribes to be included in her conversations. And instead of just making across a point, she tells a story from when she was 4. Now, this nameplate moment, won't you remember this for a lifetime and make this point really stick out? Stories really create that long lasting memories. For example, in an interview, you can always add stories from your personal life, how those events have shaped the way you today are, the way you are, you think the way you think. So while anecdotes by themselves are great for making those conversations stick to the memory, but let me be very honest, they alone are not enough. What you also got to do is to adhere to a structural communication framework. That effective structure is what is going to make your conversations stand out. Now, one such framework that Priyanka uses brilliantly is PREP. Point, reason, example, point again. This interview, when she was asked about how women should advocate for themselves, just see how she makes the conversation flow so fluently and so effectively.
When they're advocating for themselves to get the good stuff in life.
That's so hard because women in general, we're made to feel like we shouldn't ask for things because, we're so lucky. You already have this, you're so lucky you have that. Asking for things makes you selfish, or desiring or coveting something, or being ambitious is like, oh my gosh, you're so ambitious. Like, for women, somehow, for a long time, it was seen as, not positive. And I think advocating for yourself is very important, but coming from a level-headed place is also important. If you're advocating for yourself, know what you're advocating about. Women have to prove ourselves twice as hard for most jobs. So if you're advocating for yourself, do your homework. Make sure you research enough to know what you're talking about. So whoever you're advocating to does not have anything that they can say except yes. Yes. You have to get that because, so that's the way we can help ourselves. Of course, there are some times you don't have the luxury of being able to, do research and come with, a coherent solution forward. And you have to just advocate for yourself and you have to scream really hard. And that's okay too. I think it's okay as long as you're advocating for yourself, because that's extremely crucial for young girls to do. My parents taught me how to do that when I was 2 years old. Ask for what you want. You may or may not get it, but ask. Open your mouth and ask.
That's prep, and it's golden. Prep helps you think more clearly before you speak. That thinking leads to clearer and more persuasive outcomes. Finally, she just doesn't speak clearly. She speaks beautifully. Why? Because of the way she plays around with language. That's amazing. She uses rhetorical devices like personification, metaphors. Here is she speaking about grief, and look at how beautifully she has explained her point of view.
After my dad passed, I came to a slow but steady conclusion that that kind of pain will never go away. It's your companion. So when you're thinking about, when people say like, I'm waiting for the day it stops hurting less. I'm waiting for the day it doesn't affect me anymore. I need it to be over. I need to get over it. You're never getting over it. It becomes a companion. There are days it'll come out in a biggish kind of way and want to stay for dinner or maybe a week. And there are some days you don't even remember it till you see a photo and you're just like. So any form of grief will have a duration in which it'll be your companion.
Yeah.
And you've got to let it.
That's personification. It brings your emotions alive.
What would you like to change about this whole journey till this point? Is there anything you'd like to do differently?
I used to have a lot of anxiety around losing my job, losing my position.
Losing time. That's
No, never time.
Because that's a very common thing now with
What do you
teenagers, with college. Everyone's afraid that they're getting too old when they're 18.
I mean, I'm not afraid at 40 of getting too old yet.
I feel aging feels really nice. Like it makes you feel
It's
very
normal.
chill.
Why are we putting so much equity on aging? You're gonna get older. What is my best opportunity at 18, at 25, at 35, at 60? Who is it that you want to be?
It's also the people around, other people telling them that they're getting too old.
So then don't keep those people around you. Break up with them. Bye. Peace out. But I don't sit in the shit. You can sit in the shit and then you'll start smelling of it. And then you don't even know you're smelling of it because you got so used to it. There are many people that will want to pull you down. Focus on the light, little sliver of light that you might see. Do you have that inside of you? Or are you going to wait for somebody else to do it?
That metaphor, brutal but unforgettable. That's what you and me should target in our communication strategies. Anecdotes to make your point memorable. Structure your thoughts with frameworks like PrEP. And then decorate your language with rhetorical devices. So the next time you are in an interview, in a meeting, in a conversation, maybe just casual, just remember this. Don't just answer, articulate like Priyanka and let the music flow. See how effectively it will transform the way people perceive. And today's reality is that perception is everything. You might have golden thoughts in your heart, but unless you are able to articulate them effectively, you are not going to create an impact. And hence, we are going to continue learning from the legends and trying to make ourselves better every day. Thank you.